Hello and welcome to my kitchen. That's right, another slight deviation from the travel agenda with my other passion, or one of my other passions, food. Glorious food. Now, I don't know about you, but I love steak, ribeye, T-bone, of course. I'm actually really getting into steaks on the bone, but also fillets, rump, nearly the whole lot, really. Beef can be quite expensive, so I have a fantastic alternative for you. It tends to be considerably cheaper and controversial. I'm saying in some situations can even be better than steak. That's right, what the duck? I'm talking duck breast. First and foremost is the provenance of your duck breast. You need a high quality meat. So ideally you'll go to a farmer's market or your local butcher. Like a lot of my meat produce, I source it or buy it from Etherley Farm, which is down in Surrey. Such good produce, fantastic. Can't say anything more than absolute brilliant. Thank you, Charlie and the team there. Similar to steak, take the duck breast out of the fridge, maybe an hour or two before you plan on cooking to get it towards room temperature. As you can see, this duck breast is well over 400 grams, which is plenty, more than enough to feed two adults. Obviously, if you're feeling hungry or greedy, you can have two duck breasts, one each. I'll tell you what, though, any leftovers, this cold duck was absolutely fantastically when it comes to salads the following day. You're going to find that if you go to supermarkets that the duck breasts are going to be rather on the small side and certainly not up to this kind of caliber. Anyway, pat the duck breast dry with some nice clean, obviously, kitchen roll. Get a serrated knife and score the duck breast as you can. I am a little bit cat-handed at these things, or maybe I just need a sharper knife. So don't expect some Michelin quality knife work on this occasion or any others when it comes to my recipes. We score the skin, try saying that 50 times fast, in order to help render the fat, because obviously the duck breast, the skin is quite fatty, and we're going to slowly cook it and take out some of that fat. Little bonus side dish is that you can keep the fat once you render it, and fantastic for roast potatoes. So an extra win there. One of the downsides of having a big breast, pardon, one of the big sides of having a big duck breast is sometimes it can actually be hard to score it all in one go without an ultra sharp knife. So don't be afraid to turn it around and just get down to the edges. And again, you want to try to get the whole way across the skin breast all the way across, because that's good for making sure that all that fat comes out and also helping make that skin nice and crispy when it comes to cooking it up later on. Now it's time to crack out the salt and pepper and give the breast a great seasoning. Be generous, plenty of pepper, plenty of salt. The salt once again helps crisp up the skin, also adds a great level of flavour. If you are a handsy person like me, don't shy away from rubbing the salt and pepper into the duck breast to get really in there, into the cracks and the crannies, and ensure that the whole thing is lovely and coated and ready to cook. The duck breast is cooked across a few different stages. The first stage is going to be low and slow. So we put the very small simmer hob on. You can use the medium sized one if you want, but if you're patient, use the small one. And then pop the duck breast skin down into a dry pan, so no oil needed, because don't forget we get a lot of that render from the breast itself, from the skin. You can then season the meat part of the bird, obviously the one that's facing upwards from the pan, as you let it slowly but surely render. This can take a while, 15, 20, up to half an hour, depending on how slow you want to sort of drain it out. And I mean literally drain it out. So have a ramekin to one side and just tip up the pan and pour the excess oil into the ramekin. Saves you getting too overwhelmed and too greasy and all that sort of unpleasantness. Once you have rendered a suitable amount of fat from the duck breast, you'll see, if you just have a quick peek, you'll see it's starting to get a little bit sort of browner and crisp up. You crank up the heat on a big hob, because this is where we're going to sear the bottom. So yeah, so on goes a really hot high heat, and we then place the pan onto the hob and start crisping up that skin. Now, you will continue to drain oil out of this, so be careful not to make it too hot and risk any kind of fires or accidents or spitting oil in people's faces by accident or on your body. That is quite unpleasant. So, yeah, keep an eye on that as we wait for the skin to do its magic. As you'll see, the pan is obviously to get quite hot, so bear that in mind as well. And you'll see the steam coming off the pan as that heat is getting more and more intense. Maybe after a minute or so, just have a quick look to see how well the duck breast is crisping up. Here, is sort of getting there, needed a little bit more time. The key there is, of course, that you may suddenly just go from having it very nicely crisp to burnt. So bear that in mind, that you can literally be like 10, 20 seconds can make all the difference. So yeah, keep a close eye on not going over that threshold. If you are feeling a little bit impatient, and don't we all, we're in a rush in this modern world, modern digital world, then feel free to just add a little bit of pressure with the tongs onto the duck breast, just to try and get a reasonably even type of crispiness. And once you're happy with that, you flip it over, and then we're just going to seal the bottom of the duck breast, maybe a minute, 90 seconds or so. Should be pretty on point. Have an oven heated to about 125. This one I've got the bottom oven on 200, so it's slightly lower. And once you are happy with that and happy with your duck breast, transfer it to a plate, and then it goes into the oven. Maybe for about 5 minutes. I don't know, 5 minutes is probably about right. If you want it sort of pink, but not too on the raw side. You can also put the grill on if you just need a skin crisp up a little bit more. And yes, I know I've not had a chance to clean my blooming oven before everyone says, "You got dirty oven." I know, and I promise I'll clean it very soon. It's just been a difficult few years. As with the steak, leave the duck breast to rest maybe 5 minutes. You'll see the lovely colour that it's developing here. Absolutely fantastic. Leave it to rest for 5 minutes, and then this is where the fun begins. I mean, the choice is yours, really. You can serve it as a whole duck breast or cut it in half, which is what I often do because it gives a very similar kind of vibe to having a nice thick steak that you can cut through. And also, a good thing about a duck breast is that it tends to be a lot thicker than a steak. Maybe yes, I think you might get a fillet steak out of this thing, but this is really a plus for me because unfortunately, I don't think you get that many thick steaks anymore. I suppose you could ask for them, but you tend to find them a bit longer than thicker. Anyway, let's scrap that because I decided to slice it anyway. I thought it'd be a little bit more dramatic, a little bit more professional. Well, amateur, professional, or indeed just pretty. But I'll let you decide which one you prefer. I'm also finding my iPhone is actually starting to wash out a lot of the images. They seem quite pan. They don't bring out the vibrancy of some of these dishes. But maybe I'll try my GoPro next time. This is done medium because I find that duck breast can still be quite bloody even at medium level. So you can obviously adjust things accordingly. But yeah, served up with some nice jacket potato, broccoli fried in the pan that the duck was in, and maybe a cheeky glass of red wine. If you're enjoying my little dalliance with food, please do like and subscribe. That gives me an indication whether I should be doing more of this kind of content.